Welcome, y'all, to Women Entrepreneurs Living Child Free. I am super excited to be here for our fifth, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 episode of our Fridays Freedoms, where we are going to have a blast. And today I have Peaches, who is joining us. Super excited to have you here with us today, Peaches. Happy Friday.
Thank you. Happy Friday to you. Thanks for having me.
So excited to have you with us. So I have to start off. Do me a favor. Tell me a little bit about what it is that you do in your business.
Okay, so there are several things that I do as a part of Just Peachy Productions, my LLC. I am a personal, private, one-on-one power and success coach. I also lead power and success groups. I also work as a coach and program manager for something called Wealth and Impact Bootcamp. I also work as a program manager for the University of Connecticut, and I have an internship program with students in the health professions who are out to support health districts in reducing opioid misuse. And I also am a writer and an editor and a journalist for 4 decades, and I help people with their written work as well. And so it's all about communications and communication strategies.
Love it. Love it. So there's lots of different hats you wear. If you kind of had to boil it down to, like, my goal is I help people this or that. If we had to take all of those amazing things that you do and boil it down to one, I know that's not an easy thing to do, but what's really kind of that that driving force behind it for you?
It's definitely power and success. It's power and success in any realm.
Tell us a little bit about how that makes an impact for you as a woman business owner.
How I make an impact?
Well, how you get to make that impact.
Well, I think that it comes down to my helping people restore themselves to themselves and to
Okay, wait. So let's make sure we got this. You help people restore themselves to themselves.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us
Yes.
more.
So it's really about recognizing who we are inside and allowing who we are inside to express itself on the outside. But it's not the part of us inside that's fearful and sad and sometimes ashamed of things in life. It's the powerful and successful part of us that's inside of all of us that is sometimes veiled, or sometimes, like Michelangelo's David, it's kind of the inside and needs to be released from, carved out of the stone. It's already in existence inside of us, but we are operating on the outside and not paying attention to what's going on the inside. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, and I love the visual. I always love visuals of, trying to get whatever the masterpiece is out of the stone. And that to me is always just phenomenal that you're able to create that. And so that you're able to do that for people. Because I do find a lot of, I don't know why it is, but we have like all these different things weighing us down and who we think we need to be and all of that makes it really hard. And to me, it takes a lot more energy. Like when we get to be who our true self is, the energy is just easier.
It's true. Everybody has a spark inside, and there are little sparks, there are big sparks, there are explosive sparks, but everybody has a spark inside. It doesn't matter who you are. And all we have to do is go in and find it. And it's not even a matter of lighting it. It's lit. It's just burning very softly and very low inside. And we just need to, if you think about a candle that starts to burn down and the melted wax around it starts to snuff it out, and if you pour off that melted wax, the flame can be exposed fully. And I think that's what happens in the work that I do with people, is that we release the flame that's already there.
Nice. I love that. And Dr. Meisner uses an analogy about like the flame and the wax in the work that you do. And I love using this analogy of a candle and just, that difference it makes when you've got the airflow, when there's wax gone, we get to really be who we are and who we want to be.
Wow, I didn't know about that Dr. Meisner says that. And I feel like now I just made something up that I didn't
No. His conversation talks about being in your flame, like what lights you up, versus the wax, which is what drives you down. It's just like using, I mean, my gosh, how many freaking metaphors are there about onions?
I know.
Like,
Tiffanie,
seriously.
you snuffed out my flame.
Yes, yes, I did. I just like it when there's analogies, because there's we all use the same analogies, but it's not the same. It was me or very different. I should have never said that.
You're a
Y'all.
flame snuffer.
Ah.
It's great. It's totally fine.
Now, yeah, I was gonna say, if you pull out the starfish story in the speaker world, everybody jokes about the starfish story and speakers
Oh, yeah.
using it. Like, yeah, and it's one of those things. Like, if you've never heard the starfish story, essentially, y'all, that if you're watching this and you're like, "What's the starfish story? Give me a star."
Tell the starfish story.
Yeah, essentially, it's the boy and his dad are walking along, or the granddad, and there's all these starfish, and he throws the one back in, and the granddad's like, "Why did you even bother?" He's like, "Well, for that one, it made a difference." And so apparently speakers use that quite a bit. And so it is nice when you are able to have your own stories. But to me, the story of your candle that you used is not the same. So it's not a copy.
Wait,
It
but
just
you left out a
uses
piece of the
medium.
starfish story. And of course, I'm an editor, so I have to put it back in. So there were millions of starfish on the shore. It went on forever. And so when he picked up one every once in a while, the grandfather said, "Why, look at how many starfish there are. You're never going to be able to accomplish this." And he said, "Well, it made a difference for that one." That kind of thing. Wait, I got you back for snuffing out my
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I was just trying to do the Twitter version. I guess now it's X. So I know we chatted and connected around this whole child free by choice community, and bringing in for the women business owners this joy and celebration of getting to be child free. And so I didn't know if you want to talk a little bit about how you feel about the choice that you get to be child free, and how you're really making the most out of making an impact without necessarily it having to be your flesh and blood.
Yeah, that is a great question. I chose a long time ago to belong to people who needed someone to help them find their flame. First as a teacher, and then as an editor, and then as a coach. And teaching and coaching are kind of the same thing at some level. But I had the choice to be a mother a long time ago. I came from a family of six children.
Wow.
So it's not something I'm not used to, the idea of having a family. And I think I felt that I could make a bigger difference on the planet if I worked with lots and lots of people who needed nurturing and needed a loving hand and ear. So I think I've always been, the buzzword now is purpose driven, or the buzz term. Yes. But I think I've been purpose driven since I was 6 years old. I remember sitting at the table with our caregiver at the time, who lived with us, and she came from another country, and sitting and teaching her English at the table when I was 7. And night after dinner, I would sit and teach her English. And I even created a diploma for her when she graduated from my class. And I think I've always wanted people to win. And being child free allows me to give my energy to lots and lots of people. And I love being an aunt. I got to tell you, I love my nieces and nephews, and my grandnieces and nephews.
I was
They
gonna say,
are.
you're one of 6.
I'm one of 6, and there's lots of nieces and nephews.
Are you the only child free?
I am.
Okay. So you got 5 siblings worth of nieces and nephews and
Yes.
grandnieces and nephews.
Yes.
What's the count?
The count is I have, let's see. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, wait.
A lot.
Okay, so I have 6 nieces and nephews, but then I have 6 grandnieces and nephews, and one of my nieces just got married, so we're about to have some more grandnieces and nephews, and so it's 12. It doesn't seem huge, but it's a lot.
That's a lot.
People.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
a whole basketball team right there.
That is. It is, and they're varying ages. Like I have a grand that is 3, and I have my oldest niece and nephew are almost 40.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a span. And I just love them, and I love being that I'm the one, right? I'm the aunt that got them in trouble all the time growing up because I would take them out driving and teach them how to drive in the middle of the night when they were teenagers, and that I'm that one. So and I love my role, and I can give back to them in a motherly way without being their mom, and I can be a mom to people who are adults.
Is it easier to be a mom to the people that are adults sometimes?
No. It's definitely not easier to be a mom to people who are adults.
You would think, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
So tell me, what would be your advice to women entrepreneurs that are living this child-free life, that are looking to get started, or maybe they've only been in business for a couple of years? What advice would you have for them in looking to grow and survive and thrive? If we look at this, purpose-driven life that we're looking to create, that power, that being the flame and well lit.
Well, if we could be more specific about the realm in which we're giving advice, is this about their businesses? Is this about being child free and being an entrepreneur? Which area would you like me to address?
Oh, I could see this going either way. Let's go with for them being child free and being the business owner.
Live it up. Because there's no one to put to bed and there's no one to make dinner for, unless you're making dinner obviously for a partner, or I think that you really enjoy that freedom and create. You've got the time and the space to do that, and you can give back to the younger people in your family or your friends' kids too at the same time. But you know how grandparents joke about how they love their grandchildren because they come to visit and they have a wonderful time and then they go home.
Yes.
It's the same way for women who are child-free business entrepreneurs and business owners. That you get to have children in your life, but you get to operate full throttle in your business and take advantage of that. Because at some point in life, we like to slow down and work smarter, not harder. Do
Yeah.
as much as you can to build, especially as a woman in our world. You can't really kind of glide. If you want to build something, you really have to put some muscle into it the way the guys do. Except it comes easier to them because they're seen as more important. So you have to put lots of muscle in and do it early and do it hard so that you can get to that point in midlife where you can start to slow down a little bit and work on passion projects and that sort of thing. Did that answer your question?
I like it. Thank you so very much.
Okay,
So
great.
what is your passion project?
Oh man, what am I working on now? I've got a few things going on right
Okay.
now. My
What's the
latest
one that most excites you? Whether it's most excites you because you're working on it today or just overall. Give me the
All right.
one.
Okay, so what most excites me right now is I'm consulting with a young woman who is launching a nonprofit. And that's another thing I do. I'm a nonprofit consultant because it's all about power and success. If that's attached to it, I'm there. So I'm trying to help her launch this foundation where she is a, believe it or not, I just love this young woman. She is a PharmD MBA. So she's a doctor of pharmacy and an MBA, and she works for a pharmaceutical company representing a very powerful, helpful medication. But she is also starting something called Top 8 Foundation. And what she does, she's also a championship hip hop dancer. And she's a championship hip hop dancer and a PharmD and an MBA and works for a pharmaceutical company and has started this nonprofit to bring hip hop dance, arts, and culture to children's hospitals. So we are currently we already had a show down in DC. We have another one in Boston in May. Then we have a bunch of very famous hospitals that are bringing us in over the summer and in the fall. And so that's a passion project, helping her get this up off the ground, get those grants in for funding, get the word out, have conversations with communities in need that can use this, not just children's hospitals, but other communities in need. And so I love supporting her. She's in her early 30s and she's a powerhouse, and I just want to get her to be as high as I possibly can. So that's a passion project for me right now.
And I'm kind of, the funny thing in my head, I'm like, I wonder how many kids she has, if any, because it sounds like she has a lot going on. Yeah. That I was thinking, I'm like, as she keeps listing all of this stuff, I'm like, I wonder if she's child free too.
No kids, no husband. Nothing like that on the horizon. She's out there and she's building.
I love it. And I love the fact that we have the opportunity nowadays to, at least easier than it used to be. I have a feeling with the millennials, because they're just like totally disrupting how any of it was done. I was laughing, my husband's little sister, she's 21 now. She doesn't know how to drive. She's never had a job. I'm like, when I was 21, I think I bought my first house, and then my car got stolen, so I had to buy a new car. I graduated college, and yeah, I had been working for years, and now it's like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
So
No,
it'll be interesting to see how different, because if they can't drive and they're not, super motivated to get out and do stuff, I wonder how that's going to impact their wanting to have kids, or if it's going to become much more normal not to have kids.
If you do the research, the different characteristics of the generations is fascinating. Those are Gen Zs, the 21-year-olds. And like millennial, and they have similarities with millennials, but they have a little bit of a different ethic. It's more like the ones who came before the baby boomers, which I'm in. You can really, to me, it's totally fascinating. There are things that millennials do that have become bankrupt for them. So now that ones coming up underneath them have learned some lessons and are not doing those things. But I will tell you that, not to sound like a grumpy old person, but at 18, I was living on my own. I had my own checking account. I didn't have a car. I knew how to drive, but I didn't own a car, and I lived on my own, and I took buses, and I walked, and I worked in 3 restaurants at a time to make ends meet. And I came from a well-off family, but I chose to go out and not go to college right away and go out and do my own thing for a couple of years before I went to school. So by the time I went to school, I wanted to go to school. I was done. So, that's a lot of that is missing now. And there's a lot missing. We should definitely have a show. Have you have a show on, what's missing that we can put back in for the younger people, because they're missing some links.
No, it'd be interesting to, it's one of those things, as the generations change, as the time change, some of the things that go away and some of the things that stay the same. And it's such an interesting thing of what one generation sees as like so key and crucial, and others are like, yeah, no, that doesn't even matter to us.
But the thing is that what they don't recognize, because we were all young and we remember that we didn't foresee certain things, like our bodies breaking down, right? Like we didn't know that things were just going to like be wrong every morning when we got up for the rest of our lives. So we didn't foresee certain things as well, but we had the guidance of people from a generation who made sure that we took care of certain things. What's happening now is that the parents of those kids are younger than we are. And so they're not necessarily giving them those, those powerful lessons learned, where they lived through wars and they lived through things like the Holocaust, and they ran for their lives to come to this country, and they wanted to make this country a great, safe place for people. And so much has gone wrong. And you have such a great show here. I've got all these topics for you that you could actually host.
And I'm all about let's positive and keep it moving forward. Because one of the things that, the only thing that's constant is going to be that it's going to change, and just embracing what works. And if it's not the right fit when it comes to change, to me, it's okay, how do I adapt to be in the society the way it is, in a way that works? And it's not always going to be right for everyone. And it's just, how can we make it right for ourselves, and, empower, especially those younger folks, to get up and get out and do what they're driven to do. Now, I know you've got a special offer for the folks watching here today. You want to tell us a little bit about that, in case they're inspired to maybe work on some of that purpose-driven?
Yes, I would love to be able to help people find their flame. There we are with that flame again. So I'm offering to the first 10 people who respond a half an hour conversation about who they are, who they want to be out there in the world, what their purpose is, and how they can make it happen for themselves. So that's what I'm offering today.
Nice. And what's the best way for people to get in touch with you? Do you want them to comment where I'm sorry, I'm like, why am I small? Here we go. Big again. Do you want them to reach out on social? Do you want them to reply to where this is online? Do you want them to email you? What's the best way for them to get in touch?
They can find me on LinkedIn under Peaches Udoma, and also my website is under revamp, but they can contact me there. If they go to justpeachypower.com, they can reach me through there, and it should be back up pretty soon. But LinkedIn is also a great place to reach me as well.
So do people gift you peach stuff all the time, or not really?
People do gift me peach stuff all the time, and I love
You
that.
like them gifting you peach stuff?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I learned a long time ago, I grew up in a family that taught me not to accept things from people because, you don't want to seem greedy, and don't ask for things. If they try to give it to you, try to decline it at least 3 times before you accept it. And I see the power that we empower people by being accepting of what they offer us. So we are keeping people small when we're declining and refusing to take things from them. That's their way of showing that they appreciate us. And so if they offer, take it.
Love it. Yes. I always say, like, the joy we get when we give, that's what we allow others to get when they give to us. And so if we want to have that greatness in the universe, we have to be open to it.
It's
You
true.
never know,
And
some people like peach, some people, when they have that namesake, they like it. Some people don't. So
well, I just was telling the funny story the other day. My mother had 3 very close sisters. The 4 of them were very close, and they would go out to dinner together, and one would try to pay the bill, and the others would chase her across the restaurant to stuff the money in her purse so that she could not get away with paying the bill. So, I'm from I have a different take on that, which is be ready to share, but also allow people to do for you, because it actually gives them a feeling of being helpful and kind and generous. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I want to say thank you so very much, Peaches, for being here, for sharing. I know there's so many more conversations that we could have today, though, we try and keep it short, y'all. I want to say thank you so much for being here. Again, her website is justpeachypower.com. You can find her online. Last opportunity, if there's any nugget that's still wiggling in your brain, like, oh, one last thing Peaches has to share with our audience of women entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
What you got?
My nugget is, hold on, I'm doing a nugget search. Nugget discovery. Don't allow other people's ideas of who you are to dictate who you are. You know who you are. You don't need other people to tell you that you're not.
Love it. Love it. That's super profound. And I think great advice, period. And especially hitting home for the women that have chosen to live child free. We're already taking on, being a woman, we're taking on owning a business, and we're taking on going against the societal norms and being child free. And so I think, to have that, to wear that, to, have that power that will definitely lead us to success. Peaches,
and one more thing.
Yes.
One more thing. You, first of all, you just always look so smashing, I have to say.
Thank you so very much. I hired a fashion consultant that got my colors, and she takes me shopping online because she lives in LA. Amy's amazing, or Vegas. Amy's amazing. Yeah, because I'm like, I don't like all of this sometimes, and I don't want to think about it. So she goes through, and so I will let her know that.
Wonderful. And the second thing I wanted to say was that now that's where I lose my thought. Okay. I think the last thing I wanted to say had something to do with the fact that it's exciting to see women who make a choice to be out there in the world and belong to the world. It's encourage your sisters, not your only your biological sisters, but all your sisters to express who they really are in the world. And if part of that is being a mother, great. But if it's not, don't try to stuff yourself into a mold, because we're talking about being happy and fulfilled on the planet. And you'll get happy and fulfilled by actually doing what is you, authentically you. Yeah.
Thank you so very much, Peaches, for all your wisdom. Y'all take advantage. She's got those 10 spots. Grab yours super quick so you can work on your power and success. And we will see you back next week, Friday, 11:11 a.m. Eastern, as always, with another amazing woman entrepreneur living